Welcome to the December 4th, 2023 special called meeting of the Tennessee Public Charter School Commission. Before we begin this meeting, I want to recognize Ashley Thomas, our General Counsel, to provide the statement of necessity for today.
Good morning. This is Ashley Thomas. This commission meeting is being conducted pursuant to TCA 8-44-108, which allows for a governing body to allow participation by electronic means of communication where a physical quorum is not possible. As commission business requires a decision prior to the regularly scheduled January meeting, the necessity of this special call meeting is for the commission's deliberation and action on items set forth in the December 4th, 2023 agenda. This meeting is being recorded and will be available after its conclusion via link on the Commission's website. A call-in number was provided on the Commission's website for the public to participate, and a statement of necessity shall be filed with the Secretary of State pursuant to TCA 8-44-108.
Thank you, Ashley. As a reminder, all votes of the Commission are conducted via taking a roll call vote. Please identify yourself prior to speaking or making a motion. I believe we are now ready to call the roll. Hayden, please take a roll call of the commissioners.
Commissioner Carter.
Present.
Commissioner Griscom.
Here.
Commissioner Levine.
He shows us here. There he is.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. Commissioner Lauren Smith. Commissioner Patterson.
Here.
Commissioner Tudor.
Here.
Commissioner Woodson.
Here.
And Chair Richards.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have 7 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Lauren. I'm here. Sorry, I've been in the attendee group.
Okay.
Sorry about
Welcome, Lauren. We hope
Thank
we'll
you.
see you as well, but it's good to hear you. We will be handling some time-sensitive matters that require commission action before our next quarterly meeting in January. First on our agenda, we will hear an update from Executive Director Tess Stovall. Next, we will consider the report from the School Performance and Accountability Committee on the Charter School Amendment petition the Commission received from Libertas School of Memphis. And finally, we will vote on approval of the TISA accountability report that was presented at the October quarterly meeting. Does anyone have questions or comments before we vote to approve the agenda? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. This is Terrence Patterson.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Amy Woodson, second.
Thank you. Hayden, please take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom.
Aye.
Commissioner Levine.
Aye. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Patterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. Commissioner Lauren Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor.
Aye.
Commissioner Woodson.
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
Madam Chair, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you, Hayden. The agenda is approved. Next, we're going to move to the approval of the prior minutes. The minutes from the October 5th and 6th, 2023 Commission meeting have been provided. Does anyone have any corrections or comments before we vote on approval?
Tom Griscom, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Terrence Patterson.
Thank you. Hayden, please take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom.
Aye.
Commissioner Levine.
Aye.
Commissioner Patterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. Commissioner Lauren Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor.
Aye.
Commissioner Woodson.
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes.
Thank you. The minutes are approved. In accordance with Commission Policy 1.200, we have reserved time for up to 30 minutes of public comment at this meeting. Each individual will have up to 2 minutes for their specific comments. Hayden, can you please introduce anyone who has registered for public comment?
We had four individuals sign up for public comment, all in reference to the Libertas Amendment petition. First on the list, we have Bob Nardo.
Okay, Mr. Nardo, you're approved to proceed.
Morning. Are we good? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. Good morning. Thank you, commissioners. I'm the executive director of Libertas Montessori School in Memphis, and we're here to ask for your support today for our charter amendment. I'd like to thank your team for the incredibly detailed review you did of our plan. And really, I'd like to thank you for the last couple of years of partnership since we've joined the commission. I'm so thankful for your team and your highly economical use of our per pupil dollars to support quality public school choice. 9 years ago, we set out to create a community-based nonprofit organization that would transform the second lowest performing school in the state of Tennessee into a national beacon for education that is both rigorous but also human-centered. We have, for 4 straight years, exceeded the state's expectations for academic growth on the TVOS. In fact, we were the only K-8 school in Memphis to have done that through 2022. More importantly to me, we've seen our achievement grow substantially to be not only one of the highest performing schools in our community, but in fact in the top 15% of the state for at-risk student subgroups, students with disabilities and economically disadvantaged students who form a huge portion of our school are proving what is possible for kids like them across the state. But we've also expanded the definition of student success, dramatically reducing, nearly eliminating exclusionary discipline practices and offering extensive family engagement and wraparound services. And truly, these are central to what has made our school a success. With your support now, we are going to expand this model to adolescents so that children going to neighborhood schools like ours in Fraser can have this kind of free public school opportunity right in their neighborhood, where we foster independence and personalized student learning, expand world knowledge, but also give meaningful work of the hand, helping children to grow, make, and exchange goods that'll help see themselves as contributing parts of a local economy. They'll encounter beauty in the fine arts and develop their character. Thank you so much to all the community leaders, neighborhood nonprofit organizations, local and state government officials who have been critical partners to our success and helped us to get here. So I want to close with the words of Dr. Maria Montessori. Education should include the 2 forms of work, manual and intellectual, for the same person. For these complete each other and are equally essential to a civilized existence. Thank you so much for your support. We look forward to many years together.
Thank you, Mr. Nardo.
All right, next on the list, Carlissa Shaw. Is she on the call?
Ms. Shaw? I don't see her.
Right.
But
Next on the list would be Vanessa Brown.
Ms. Brown? There she is. Ms. Brown, you can proceed.
Good morning, and I'm sorry that my video is not working, but I hope my words express how my features on my face look. Good morning, my name is Vanessa Brown, founding parent, board chair, and grandparent of Libertas School of Memphis. My statement is not only for myself, but also for my dear friend Glenn Hancox, who passed away last week. He was a founding grandparent, a board member, and more importantly, he fought for the children even after his grandson aged out of Libertas. Libertas is a unique school that allows children to excel on their pace, reach their goals that no one ever thought they would make. Even themselves, they never thought they would reach the goals that they're reaching. But with a staff, the teachers, and putting the students first, the students have felt that there is no limit that they can take. I ask for your support on our application to grow past the 5th grade, to continue the wonder, work, and love till the 8th grade. As the children grow, their minds grow. They continue to push. We would love for them to be able to push under the techniques of Montessori and then have the choice, just like when you go to college, to make the choice of what college to go to, that they have the choice of what high school to go to, because who can challenge them as much as Libertas has challenged them? where they could be the leaders for Memphis, the leaders for Tennessee, the leaders for any other state in the United States of America. I asked for this gift. We asked for this gift. The board has the pleasure of supporting this group that Bob Nardo put together. And I ask, please help the children, because Frazier and Memphis have a name that is not positive. But I can tell you, if you walk through the doors at Libertas School in Memphis, all you see is excellence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Hayden, do we have another commenter?
Yes, next on the list is Lee Adams.
I don't know if this is Mr. or Ms., but Lee Adams, you may proceed. We can't hear you. You may be on mute. Hayden, did we have a connection? I see the name.
I don't know that I can unmute them.
Mr. or Ms. Adams, you're evidently muted. Can you unmute yourself? There's usually a little microphone at the bottom and you just have to click on it.
Okay, am I live now?
Yeah, there, now you're live.
Okay. Sorry. I was having a little
No
technical
problem.
difficulties. All right, so yes, sorry, I don't think my video will work either. I'm in borrowed space right now. But my name is Lee Adams, and I've been a Libertas parent for the past 3 years. And I've been a member of the Board of Trustees since this past April. Quickly, I just want to speak to my experience as a parent. As I get to speak with other parents throughout the hallways or in the pickup lines, everyone is just beaming with joy and gratitude what their kids or grandkids, nieces, nephews, or whoever are able to experience and receive here at Libertas. But there's also a hint of sadness when the kids enter 4th and 5th grade, knowing that that time is coming to an end. I do believe that you can build one up without tearing another down, so do not intend to disparage anyone in our community in the MSCS. I have plenty of friends who are educators and administrators at MSCS schools, and I'm encouraged by the work that they're doing there. But what we're able to provide, the Montessori education, while getting a public school experience and at the public school price, is obviously unique. And I'm glad that we're able to continue that into our 6th and 7th and 8th grade students. And just quickly, as a board member, I have not had the hands-on experience with building out this expansion, but I have read the reports of Samantha Durant and her team, and I'm just thoroughly impressed with all of their efforts. It's obvious that they've done extensive research and are entering into this expansion very thoughtfully. I believe they have a great vision and the right people in place to execute that vision in a way that continues to uplift our students and prepares them for a life of flourishing in work, wonder, and love. So I appreciate y'all taking this time to hear our comments and taking time to vote on this matter. It is very much appreciated by not just other parents like myself, but the board members as well.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Hayden, have we been able to see Ms. Shaw? Or no? I don't see her on the screen at all.
I don't see her on the screen either.
Okay, well then we'll move on. We appreciate all of the members of the public who took time to comment. And with that, we're going to proceed on to the Executive Director's report. Tess Stovall, our Executive Director, is prepared today to give us an update. Tess, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair Richards. Good morning. I wanted to take this opportunity to provide a couple of important updates to the Commission in advance of our January meeting. So the first is just an update on the Achievement School District Pathways update. And we talked about this at the October meeting, and I wanted to update you all on where we stand. So as a reminder, schools who are currently operating within the Achievement School District may be designated the ability to apply directly to the Commission if they meet certain requirements under the state's accountability system. However, the release of accountability data and from the Department of Education has been delayed this fall. And just this past week, we were notified that by the Department of Education that letter grades and accountability data would be released December the 21st. So given the fact that at this point that information has not been released, ASD operators are unable to submit an application to us because they do not have that full set of data available. So what we have had to do internally is decide that when we receive any applications from ASD operators, that instead of reviewing and taking commission action on those at our January 2024 meeting, that now we will have to take action on those at the March 2024 meeting. I want to acknowledge that this is not an ideal timeline for anyone. It's not typically the timeline that we run. It's not the ideal timeline for the school or the impacted community, but we are all living in a world where we don't have the full information at this point regarding accountability, and we're having to all make adjustments based on the updated timeline that were communicated from the Department of Education. So I will continue to keep the commission updated as we receive any applications, as accountability data is released, and we will plan to update the commission in January where we are with the ASD application process. But please be prepared to take action on any ASD applications that we receive at our March 2024 meeting. The next update is I want to get some feedback, which I'll open it up after I complete my update, is on our July 2024 meeting location. So the commission has to meet quarterly, and this past July we met at our July meeting was at the University of Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee. We have another July 2024 meeting scheduled, and I wanted to open it up to the commission for feedback on location for that meeting. So when we were in Memphis, it did give us an opportunity to connect with the schools, school leaders, and parents who are located in Memphis and have an opportunity both to have panels, but also have them attend our meeting in person, which is something that they're not typically easily able to do when we have our meetings in Nashville. However, I also acknowledge that we have not had a meeting in our East Tennessee region at this point. And so wanted to get feedback from the commissioners whether or not we think it's a priority to go back to Memphis to give the opportunity for our schools in that region to connect with the commission again, or if we would want to look at an East Tennessee location for that July meeting. The remaining meetings in 2024 will be held in Nashville. And then finally, before I open it up to feedback, I wanted to provide an update on a new requirement that we had to complete this fall around the Enterprise Risk Management Project. So this is a state requirement that all state agencies have to complete. And previously, the Department of Education completed this project for any administratively attached agencies, which included the State Board of Education, Energy Efficient Schools, and then the Charter Commission. However, the department's Office of Internal Audit decided this year that it would be most appropriate to have those administratively attached agencies complete this enterprise risk analysis, which has us identify what our overarching priorities are, identify what risks are associated with those priorities, and then identify the controls that we have around those priorities. This is something that we will be doing on a go-forward basis. The good news is that the completion of this project was pretty direct and straightforward because of the great work we've done on our strategic plan and our benchmarks. So that got us 75% there in terms of the completion of this project. But moving forward, one of the things that the team is going to be looking at when we review our strategic plan and our progress towards our strategic plan is to really start thinking about what are the risks associated in not achieving a goal, and how are we thinking about, as much as we can, risk avoidance or reducing the risk, and do we have the appropriate controls in place to do that work very well. And with that, Chair Richards, I would like to open it back up to the commission around feedback for the July meeting location.
Does anyone have any comments about the July meeting?
Madam Chair, this is Alan. I thought it was good when we met in Memphis to hear directly from some of the local schools. To the degree we've got any opportunity in East Tennessee, that would certainly be more convenient for those of us that live on this side of the state. So if there's a way to meet on this side of the state and involve either schools or those who wish to become schools so that we could hear directly from them, that would be great.
Chris, this is Tom. May I?
Please proceed.
Since I too live in the eastern part of the state, I will echo my fellow commissioners' comments, but I'm going to make a pitch for Chattanooga for this reason. You've got a Montessori school here, which might be worth looking at since we have just heard and are going to act on Libertas. You also have a school that's linked to the outdoors and environmental type schools, very different, probably somewhat similar to what was approved last year for Nashville. So you might actually see one that's working that's just added an elementary school to it. These are all schools, though, that are part of the Hamilton County school system. None of these are schools with the Charter Commission. I think we've been fortunate in Chattanooga so far that the proposals have come forward. The school system here has been working with them and agreed to set them up. And finally, the school that's just opening in Knoxville, the parent school of that is here in Chattanooga. So you might be able to also see what Knoxville is getting ready to have. I know Commissioner Woodson knows this, but that school also is here in Chattanooga. So with that, there's at least some options here, and we'd love to have you in Chattanooga for those of you who may not have been here recently.
I would support what Commissioner Griscom said. I think those are some excellent points.
Hi, Jamie Woodson here, and I want to make sure I don't step on Terrence's thoughtful comments. I'll just quickly, I, as many of you know, home has three loves for me. I grew up in the greater Memphis area. I currently live in rural Middle Tennessee and chose my home as an adult in East Tennessee. And so one of the things I'm struck with is a desire. I really would love to keep the connection with our Memphis schools. I found, and I know all of us found, that time to be really meaningful. Also opportunity for side visits to schools and we've got a number of schools and communities in the area. And so I want to agree with my East Tennessee colleagues, and I really would sooner rather than later, and this coming year would be the perfect time to visit East Tennessee. I might just challenge us, understanding that logistics are challenging to get to Memphis. I wonder if there's a third way for us to continue the connection and thoughtfulness that we've had with our partners in Memphis, go to East Tennessee for the meeting and figure out some way to stay in deep contact with our Memphis schools. It's just important for us to do that. And so I'm just wondering if there's an also and where we can, I think the legislature would like for us to have a statewide physical presence. And so that puts probably another pin for East Tennessee. And I just wonder if we can find a creative way to stay connected before 2 years down the road for our partners in schools in Memphis. And I'll pitch to Terrence, who probably has a much more elegant solution.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodson. Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, please.
I don't know if it would be more eloquent, but certainly I'll give it a shot. So I just want to iterate that because we do have a significant number of schools in Memphis, that I would implore my colleagues and the staff to make sure that we can keep Memphis on the calendar somehow. But I also have a great appreciation for the continued expansion and growth of our work in other parts of the state. And so I know I am certainly willing to commit to travel to East Tennessee, and maybe we can move around a bit more than we have in the past, certainly as as the sector and the schools that come under our purview continue to grow, it will put a bit more logistical challenge on us. So I'm committed to doing that. But again, because we do have so many schools in Memphis, and I think it's important for the commissioners and staff to really be on the ground so that we can maintain a complete connection. Certainly, my two colleagues from Memphis and Shelby County are here, and we see it every day. But I do think it's important to maintain that connection and have a pretty consistent presence in Memphis. So, thank you.
Other comments? Well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to postpone a final decision on location until the January meeting and give the staff a chance to reach out to the Chattanooga-based charters. They are not our schools, and we're going to be asking them to take time away from their day-to-day efforts if they're going to meet with us and participate. And yet I am unwilling to take this commission to Chattanooga if we don't have some meaningful connectivity with charter schools while we are there. So Tess, if you would take the lead on that, if we can't arrange for connectivity, we will plan to go to Memphis because we know we will have lots of connectivity in Memphis. I do agree that we need to go to East Tennessee. We have never gone to East Tennessee in our entire existence, and it seems to me to be something that's overdue. So does that meet the, Alan, you're waving, please add in.
Madam Chair, thank you. First, I don't know that this has to be zero sum. I agree with the comments. I don't know that I'd be willing to travel around the state as opposed to going to Nashville as often as we've been, because I actually did get a lot out of going to Memphis, and I do think there's so much more to learn. I also, if we end up doing a meeting in Chattanooga, something that Commissioner Griscom said is important for us, I think, to follow up on, and that is the school system there has embraced these charters and has approved them. And I'd like to hear from the school system as to how they've approached this, why their answer has always been yes, and what their experience has been in dealing with the charter schools. Because I live in a part of the state where charters aren't quite as welcome, and I'm just curious as to why some school systems have embraced it and why others have been more reluctant to embrace it. And I think we could learn something from that if we do go to Chattanooga.
Any other comments? I think people agree with you, Commissioner Levine. If we're going, we need to make the most of our time there, whether it's meeting with charters or meeting with the local school district, to learn as much as we can from how they're making this process work. I am not, if in January we have a good plan to be in Chattanooga, and if there's some way to do one of the later meetings in Memphis, we can discuss that in January. I'm not opposed to doing that. Our original plan back in the pre-COVID moments that we had, which were very brief, was to have one meeting in East Tennessee, one meeting in West Tennessee, and the other two meetings in Nashville. So I don't have any problem with planning or at least having a conversation about that. It's more of a strain on the people who have to travel, but it's something we can all do if we have enough time, I expect, to plan for it. Does anyone have any comments on that proposal? Is that acceptable? Okay, I'm getting lots of thumbs up and yeses. So we will do that. Director Stovall, if you can look into it, and we'll put this on the agenda for the January meeting.
That sounds great. Thank you all for the feedback.
Okay. Tess, one other question I had. When is this risk assessment due that you discussed?
We had to turn in our initial report before the Thanksgiving holiday. And then what will happen is the Office of Internal Audit at the Department of Education will roll up all things related to education to then turn in a bigger report. I have not received any feedback from them on my initial submission, but I will keep you all updated if I receive any additional feedback.
Okay, and can you distribute to the commissioners what we submitted? If you haven't, I don't remember seeing it, but my memory's so bad, it might have, it might have been distributed and I
Look
just,
forward to an exciting Excel document with a lots of information about risk and controls, but absolutely, in my Friday email this week, you will get it.
okay, thank you. I didn't want to say anything about how memorable it might be, but it sounds like we will all find it exciting and memorable. And with that, are there any other comments on Director Stovall's report or questions? Okay, hearing none, the next thing on our agenda is a report from the School Performance and Accountability Committee. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Terrence Patterson to provide the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair Richards. The School Performance and Accountability Committee heard a presentation by Director of Authorizing Beth Figueroa on the amendment petition from Libertas School of Memphis and recommended approval by the full commission. I would like to recognize Beth and also Tess to make a brief presentation on this particular item.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Chair Richards, I did want to, before we start, we have the final public speaker has been able to join and wanted to know if you would be willing to allow that individual to give her public comment before Beth and I get started.
Is she related to this application?
Yes.
Yes, then let's go ahead and proceed and let her speak.
Okay, Hayden, if you will introduce the individual and Drejan, we can get started.
Yes, it's Carlissa Shaw in reference to the Libertas Amendment petition.
Ms. Shaw, you're recognized.
Good morning, everyone. And I do apologize for not making the earlier comment. I was caught in court. I am still in court. I took a break to come and visit you guys this morning. So I am a Libertas parent. Well, I'm an attorney by trade, and I'm a Libertas parent. My daughter is a 7-year-old first grader. We've been in the Libertas family since she was in pre-K. Libertas is such a gem to our community. Not only do I love Libertas as a school, I'm a product of the Fraser community. My parents actually still live right around the corner from the Libertas school, and seeing the school completely transform has been one of the highlights of our community. I don't know how many of you really know about Memphis's public school system. I'm sure all of you, because you're education advocates or on the Charter Commission, but I'm a product of Snowden and Central, and I've always lived in Fraser. My parents had to stand in the long lines to get me in the option school programs every single year. I drove past countless schools, leaving Fraser to get to Snowden and even to get to Central. I appreciate that Libertas has provided the Fraser community with a true school of choice. Like, people travel. I have friends who come from Collierville, from Germantown, all over the suburbs of Memphis to come to Libertas for the Montessori education. And not just the Montessori education. Libertas is such a sweet school. Like, you walk in the building, everyone's smiling, everyone knows all the students' name. I really don't know how this still functions as we've grown over the last several years. And I am here as an advocate for the school to be expanded as large as possible. Again, from being an advocate of the community, I'm really inspired by the work that Libertas is doing. And one of the big gaps that we have in our neighborhood is, where do these children then go for middle school? And as a Libertas parent and as a community member, that's one of the huge concerns that I have. So once my child receives this education, then where does she go next? And I think that providing Libertas with the opportunity to open a middle school answers that question, and then completely recreates what Fraser looks like. Having a solid middle school, a K-8 education, will completely transform what our neighborhood can be. And I can answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Shaw? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much, Ms. Shaw. We're sorry about the connectivity issues, but we appreciate you taking your time to provide comments this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Okay, Tess, if you'd like to proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair Richards. My recommendation for the Libertas petition has been provided to the commission as noted in the recommendation. It was updated to reflect the School Performance and Accountability Committee's conversation last week. And so I'd like to ask Beth Figueroa to give a high-level overview of my recommendation, and then we will open it up to any questions.
Thank you. As Tess mentioned, I'm here to discuss the amendment petition that was filed by Libertas School in Memphis. And so the School Performance and Accountability Committee did meet last week to discuss this petition, and we had a robust conversation related to just all of the information that's provided within their amendment. So Libertas, even though they are a relatively new school to the Commission's portfolio, the school is not a new school, and they opened back in 2015. And then they transitioned to the Commission beginning in school year 22-23 after meeting the qualifications to exit the Achievement School District. As we heard by many of our public commenters, Libertas currently serves students in grades pre-K through 5th, and they provide a Montessori education model to students in the Fraser neighborhood of Memphis. The amendment petition that was filed by the school would allow them to expand the grade level served from their current grade band to additionally offer a middle school program. And so they would be adding grades 6, 7, and 8. This would be accomplished through the addition of 1 grade level per year until they reach the full enrollment of 675 students in grades pre-K through 8. And so with that being said, in addition to requesting the expansion to serve middle grades, the amendment petition also includes that request for their maximum enrollment threshold. The school's current maximum enrollment is 484 students, and it's important to note here that the school is fully enrolled. They are at their maximum capacity, and they have a wait list. And so within the amendment petition that they filed, Mr. Nardo already mentioned a lot of these items, that they plan to continue to consistently use the Montessori model that's utilized in their elementary grades for their middle schoolers. And they will just continue to build on their academic program using the same curriculum that they currently are utilizing. Also, as Mr. Nardo mentioned, the school has received and achieved consistent high academic results, as we see from the school's TVOS scores exceeding standards. And the school has notably demonstrated a commitment to serving historically disadvantaged students. So that includes students with disabilities as well as economically disadvantaged students. During the School Performance and Accountability Committee meeting, we also discussed the operations plan. And so this included everything from the plan for recruiting teachers as well as the facility plan. And so at this point in time, the school is currently in the process of building on additional square footage to their existing school campus, which is estimated to be completed this spring. And so this space is large enough to accommodate grade 6 and up to grade 7. And so this creates kind of a 2-year buffer or runway for the school as they work to identify and secure a long-term facility. That is their first plan, is that they would identify an additional facility. If that does not materialize, they do have a second and a third option identified. The second option being adding additional square footage onto their current campus. And they also have identified as a third option a community partner that they could work with if the other 2 options don't materialize. And just lastly, as we round out the update, they have been able to secure financial support from New Schools Venture Fund, Charter Growth Fund, BES. They've presented a budget that demonstrates the long-term financial sustainability of this expansion. And they have secured bond funds to support all of the expenses related to the facility costs. And they have already received a significant percentage of commitments for fundraising that would cover any remaining funds. And so based on the totality of the record, it is the recommendation of the executive director that the commission approves the amendment petition for Libertas, allowing them to expand to serve grades 6 through 8, as well as increase their enrollment to 675 students. And so at this time, happy to take any questions.
Do any commissioners have questions or comments for Beth or Tess? I don't see any. Commissioner Patterson, do you have any comments as the chair of the SPNA committee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do just briefly, I want to reiterate the presentation that Beth made. Certainly want to reiterate all of the heartfelt comments made by the public comment. I think that public comment is indicative. It's indicative not only of the success of the school, but also its importance and significance in the community. I think for those 3 people that presented, we probably could have heard 5 or 6 other high-profile folks in the community that have a great and deep appreciation for the school. So I am excited about its opportunity to growth, and this type of amendment is precisely why we do what we do and serve on this commission to provide more opportunities and access for children in communities like Memphis all across the state.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Levine.
first of all, I really appreciate Commissioner Patterson's comments. He sees it up close all the time. We see it more from a distance, and I wanted to make a couple of comments about some information I gleaned off of Libertas's website. Because in terms of just student results and student success, according to their website, they're the only Memphis K through 8 school to earn 3 straight years the highest academic growth rate. Student achievement for special ed, top 15% in the state in 2021. Low income student achievement, they're in the top 15% statewide for 2022. The #1 highest achieving elementary charter school in Memphis in 2021. Their enrollment as of the time of posting this was 500 students, 80% Black, 84% low income, 20+% special ed student mix. Small class sizes, average of 23 students with 2 educators per class. And their teachers have an average of more than 8 years of experience with a 91% retention. So, I mean, the data supports, in terms of what we're trying to achieve with student success, the data supports the great work that they've done here. And certainly the comments from the parents is a strong motivator for me to vote for this.
Thank you. Are there other comments? All right, before we call the question, I just want to add on Commissioner Patterson and Commissioner Levine's remark. The things that's most remarkable about this school is that if you look at their performance improvement, it has been far above the schools in that part of Memphis, as well as the Memphis Shelby County schools as a whole, despite having a far larger proportion of children who are in the special education program and economically disadvantaged children as a part of their student group. They are overcoming obstacles in that community and making a big difference. I agree with the public comments, and I'm going to support this. Are there any other comments before I call the question? Do I have a motion to approve the amendment petition and updated charter agreement from Libertas School in Memphis?
Support.
Okay, looks like Commissioner Patterson moved and Commissioner Levine seconded. Hayden, can you please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom,
Yeah, he can't hear and we can't hear him.
okay. Commissioner Commissioner Levine,
Yeah, but Commissioner Griscom is giving us a thumbs up, so we're going to take that as an aye.
all right, I will count that as an aye. Commissioner Levine,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Eddie Smith, Commissioner Lauren Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor,
Aye.
Commissioner Woodson,
Aye.
Thank you.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
Madam Chair, you have 8 ayes.
Okay, thank you very much. The amendment petition from Libertas School of Memphis is approved. All right, we're going to move on to the TSA Accountability Report, which was originally presented at the October Commission meeting.
Commissioner Richards,
Yes.
This is Tom. I've now got my sound back. So
Okay.
could I make one statement before we move off of what we just did?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I would hope, because we have just recently approved another Montessori school in Metro Nashville, if my memory serves me right. I would hope that we encourage tests, that we look at what Libertas has done. And I know there were discussions in advance from the Nashville school with Memphis. There's been some in Chattanooga as well with Memphis. But I hope when we find a school like this, and what Commissioner Levine pointed out, is that we encourage a cross-pollination so that a new school coming in really does listen and learn from what Bob Nardo has been able to achieve in Memphis, how they've done it, any of the learning lessons over this period of time. Because I have found in my career that there's a lot to be learned if you ask somebody, can you help me sort of think this through? And I hope he's in a position, I got to believe he will be, to offer that type of instruction, and that we look at opportunities where in our state, as people who tend to want to be critical of what charter schools do in the charter space, that we find ways that we share and promote for others to hear and listen, whether it's the audience that Hayden works with on Capitol Hill, or just educators in general, to really realize what charter schools are offering, the type of students that they touch, and the approaches they bring. So I just wanted to say that because I think this is a great example for us to hold up a school that's really doing well, so that our other schools benefit from it, but also so that there's a broader understanding of what charter schools offers as another public school option. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on this matter? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the TISA accountability report. It was presented at the October meeting. No vote was taken at the meeting, and approval by the full commission is required. It was recommended for approval at the November 29th SBA committee meeting. I want to recognize Executive Director Tess Stovall to present the report.
Thank you, Chair Richards. As was discussed at the October meeting, the TISA accountability report is a new requirement now that the state has moved to the funding formula under TISA, which requires all school districts to, on an annual basis, have a TISA accountability report, which sets out high-level academic goals for the district, and then ask the districts to articulate how they are using their TISA funds to achieve those goals. This report was presented in September and October, and we gathered feedback from the commissioners. We also gathered feedback from our operators. The report was turned into the Department of Education in early November, but as Chair Richards says, the department communicated in October that this required commission approval and all district approval so that we could both acknowledge that you all have seen the report, that you approve of the report, and then on an annual basis, we will revisit these goals and our progress towards these goals, and then bringing an updated accountability report to the commission. And with that, I ask for approval to this report, and if there have any questions, happy to take them.
Are there any questions or comments from any commissioners about this report?
This is Tom Griscom. I'll move its approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Hayden, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom.
Aye.
Commissioner Levine.
Aye.
Commissioner Patterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Eddie Smith. Commissioner Lauren Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor.
Aye.
Commissioner Woodson.
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
I'm sure you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. The TISA accountability report is approved. Okay, thank you all for your attendance and participation at this meeting of the Charter Commission. At this time, I would like to ask if there are any final comments or questions from any commissioner. Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Hayden, will you take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Griscom,
Aye.
Commissioner Levine,
No. Kidding. Aye.
Commissioner Patterson,
I'm sorry. Commissioner Levine always cracks me up. Aye.
No, I thought he was reacting as a Florida Gator that he was holding up for Florida State not getting in, but that's okay.
We couldn't win it on the field, so we kept them from advancing by being so bad that them beating us didn't matter. Either way, right?
There you go.
Commissioner Eddie Smith, Commissioner Lauren Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor,
Aye.
Commissioner Woodson,
Aye.
Chair Richards.
Aye.
You have 8 ayes.
Okay, well, we're going to adjourn, and once again, I want to say thank you to everyone for your time and attendance. The next meeting of the Tennessee Public Charter Commission is scheduled for January 26, 2024. We are adjourned.
Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.